video or para video sharing that Mr Tell Adugali or comment on the Fancy Gadam, him bringing Fancy Gadam and Maccasio into the spotlight. Kalam Nanta Kanatili, catch up media mo katetera, Yanya Carnella Festa Motelam remind Rapaya Pomanka, subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thanks for joining us. This is Catch Up Media. Check out Mr. Tell how on Zang Fancy Gadam Maccasio in a spotlight man Sham Kalamna. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe.
Programs and networking with the musicians in my area, especially Tamale, brought me closer to them and pushes me harder into the entertainment industry. And so it came naturally in a way. I didn't just want to go, but because of my work, it has to push me.
You found yourself
to become a player.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have been doing it for as long as you have been. I think that the first time I heard about Fancy Gadam was in 2015. Yes,
well, exactly.
2015 was the first time I heard about Fancy Gadam. But for you, how did you come to work with Fancy?
Fancy, before 2015, you mentioned, has been on the entertainment industry for so long as a dancer. He didn't start as a musician, and he together with some people formed a dancing group. Until he decided, I didn't put him into the music industry. He decided to be a musician. And so at the time, it was very difficult because he was coming into the midst of so many great musicians, so it was very difficult to penetrate. God willing, at the time, I became also popular, in my circle. So I realized that this guy is somebody who is pushing to be known, who is pushing to be on the top, but they were not giving chances to either perform on stages or head on radio through interviews.
Even in the north?
Yes, there were a lot of musicians you don't hear of.
Right.
Yeah, even up to now, there are a lot of talents you don't hear of. They just fancy.
And that's also why we are having this conversation.
Yeah, Fancy Maccasio. They are just fortunate to have emerged for you to be hearing from them. Apart from that, we had great talents who had even the spotlight before. So I took Fancy Gadam as a person. He didn't come to me, for promotion, but I realized he was striving, putting a lot of work to be heard. As a radio presenter and an influential radio presenter for that matter, picked him up from there, When I say I brought him up, it was through promotions, playing his music, using him against. Because I'm the controversial type.
Oh,
yeah. you see me here, very cool. When I get to my radio program,
talk your mind.
Oh, it doesn't. It's not as cool. I forced Fancy Gadam through that.
Right.
Hit them with Fancy at the time when Don Sigley, Lil K had the spotlight. Just like Maccasio, Fancy have the rivalry. They also had that rivalry at the time.
The names again, please.
Don Sigley. And Lil K.
Lil K.
Yes.
Okay.
They had the spotlight and people were following them. They could fill venues for concerts like Fancy is doing now.
Okay.
Wow.
But I stood my ground and said, no, Fancy is the man.
Did
you get any pushback? Sorry, did you get any pushback for that?
Yeah.
Because like you said, you stand your ground. These two are
I was insulted. I was vilified.
Whoa.
Yes, I was called a hater because at the time everybody
for
was
promoting an artist.
Yes, because at the time everybody like Lucky Don Sigley.
Okay.
They are the main men. Why am I talking about Fancy? Why am I pushing?
Wow.
Why am I pushing Fancy
One
to
person.
them when I know Fancy has seniors who are doing well? So I stood my ground. And for me, what keeps me going is when I'm doing something and you insult me.
That's your fuel.
Yes, to stop. Especially when that thing is not bad.
Okay.
And you want me to stop and you insult me, I do more.
You do more.
I do more.
I think that we need a lot more Mr. Tells. Right?
Yeah.
Because
You will tell it as it is.
right? I like that. And then also now the
want you to
industry
tell us your mind.
will appreciate a lot more talents that we don't look up to or we don't look at all, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
Mr. Tell, you mentioned that people were not giving them or giving Fancy the chance to perform, but we will think that is different there because then it's you create sort of like a family or a community over there when people get to know you, right? So who are these people that you speak on who were not giving Fancy the chance to perform at the time?
In industry players.
Okay.
and the musicians. You know, I'm an event organizer.
Okay.
I've worked with Davido in Tamale, worked with Whiskey. We brought them.
Awesome.
Sarkodie, Rapaholic, D Black, Yes Boss, Store, all the major concerts in Tamale.
Yes.
We organize
Mr. Tell right there.
we organize it. So I had an opportunity of putting Fancy Gadam on bigger stages. I remember somewhere in 2010 when I work with Charterhouse. I represent them in northern regions. So I came to them and I told them that the nominee jam must come to Tamale. That was the time. So they listened and they brought the nominee jam, one of the biggest stages. I remember I called Sarkodie and Stoneboy to them. They brought them together with, at the time, GH1, Black Boy, and some other people came as MCs. I MC'd as well.
Oh, Black Boy. That should have been time ago, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I've been working with Charterhouse for a very long time now as their representative. So it was a big platform for me to put some artists I wanted to perform. I want people to hear of. So there comes Fancy. People in northern region started calling Charterhouse, telling him that this guy is putting on the stage. It's nobody. We have bigger musicians, and he wants to spoil your stage by putting Fancy Gadam on.
Spoil your stage?
Yes.
Wow.
Fancy wasn't.
So that only also means that we some people who refer to themselves as industry players or gatekeepers are also the ones literally putting a cap on the bottle, and saying that these people can't blow.
It's not. Yeah, I think it's just peculiar to Tamale. And let me tell you, one thing you don't know about Northern region is the driving force of our entertainment is rivalry and division.
Oh,
yes.
This is interesting.
Yes. That is
the driving force of the northern region.
Entertainment is rivalry and division. You have to pick side to be heard. Even presenters go sides.
Okay.
I don't mean to.
Trim, just quickly, right? Because he's saying that. Yeah. Just take us a little into what the entertainment landscape in general looks like in the northern region.
Until now, it was normal, just like Accra. Everybody could help. Anybody could launch his album, invite others. But now you are hearing about Fancy and Maccasio because of the rivalry between them.
Okay.
Not because they are talented, not because they are handsome, but because of the rivalry. When there's rivalry, there's so much tension, there's so much noise around them. It's not a bad rivalry, it's not a bad thing, because of that they are filling the stadium, both in Accra here in Tamale because of the rivalry. So currently, as we talk, I've been there for long, but currently it is about going sides, picking sides, and taking sides.
Have you had to do that, Tell?
I had at a point because I was with Fancy.
Fancy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But I became very, very powerful to a point that I need to
be neutral.
Because me using Fancy Gadam against people will not push the entertainment industry. As I'm talking to you now, people call me a hater of Fancy Gadam.
Oh,
wait,
yes. I had problems with him. At the point, Fancy, can you believe Fancy even locked me up at the police station?
Oh.
They reported me. I had confusion with him, and there were things he said, and I also said things which I don't want to repeat here. He reported me up. His fans pushed him to report me. You understand me?
Crazy.
So whatever I say here against Fancy, people see it as hatred. They forget that I've been with him, and my station suspended me for 2 times because of Fancy Gadam.
Oh, because you kept supporting him.
Fancy Gadam, I could use 30 minutes or 40 minutes playing Fancy Gadam song, singing along, to the detriment of my businesses at the station. Management warned me, I continued. They warned me, I continued. They gave me 2-week suspension. I came back, I continued 1 month suspension. Just because of Fancy Gadam. Because I was doing this not because of him. I was using him to prove people wrong. I was using him to let people know that I am powerful. And I can, I can direct the industry the way I wanted.
You wanted.
And I had it. So at a point, Maccasio emerges because Fancy Gadam also, we launched his video album through Front Page Entertainment, headed by Maccasio, the footballer. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he brought me on board too. Well, when he wanted to manage Fancy mentioned me.
Maccasio wanted to manage Fancy
to help them.
Okay.
And the Front Page. I created finance it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Fancy mentioned me to him as a what's it called? as a promoter. So Wakaso reached out to me, and we finalized, and I became an official promoter for Front Page Entertainment, where he picked Lil K, Donsole, and Fancy. So Lil K and Donsole was on top of Fancy Gadam.
Right.
But when I came in the Front Page, we became company. But just for hours with Fancy in the same company, So at the point, Wakaso organized a video album launch. He had an album launch. In Tamale, we launched video albums and we did concerts sponsored by Wakaso. So after the show, long time ago, Wakaso phoned me and said he told Fancy Gadam to give me 500 Ghana cedi. He doesn't want the money after all. So Fancy should take part of the money, gave me 500 Ghana cedi, and my other, because we organized it up to date, Fancy refused.
Wow.
That brought my feud with him.
That brought the.
So I realized that it's not about the money. The money was nothing. But after suffering,
you've been there for him, right? So it only makes human
up
sense.
To date, he ran away with the 500 Ghana cedi. So I said, this guy will show you.
I'm sorry. How long ago was this, please? Just for context.
I was going to ask.
This was 2010. 2009, 2010.
Okay.
So that was
2009, 2010.
So 500 cedis was a big deal.
It was. Yeah. And I told he went away with the money, but I said that no, I will bring Fancy Gadam down. He's just lucky. Well, he was big, and to bring him down is not easy. But the only way I could do that was to use another person against him.
So who did you use?
Maccasio.
So you are the same person who used.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a long conversation. Please, it's only 9:44. No, we need to get into it, because this is also now telling us the role that industry players and the media play in pushing artists, right? So we need to get into how you use Maccasio, and then how Maccasio also became a household name in the North for us to hear.
I just want to know one thing.
I think, I mean, there's so many, we can mention so many names. I get the rivalry with Maccasio and Fancy Gadam, and I can mention a few other names. Mr Tell. I don't know if that's also sister something. There's also another guy, Mafia. There's so many people from the north, right?
And
we have Wiala as well.
Yes.
We have Atongo,
Fadlan, which child is coming up? Yes. Recent time, Rich Kid, Linko Boy. Yeah, we have great talent.
So I mentioned these names because you mentioned how division is sort of the driving force of the entertainment space. And I was going to ask you that, do you think that outside of the entertainment space is actually like a cultural thing? Because over the years we have heard about the divisive nature of the different factions in the northern region. Do you think that is also like contributory to this, as I don't know if I should call it a strategy, but like the nature of the industry over there?
Yeah, it should, and it's playing well. Like I said earlier, I was telling Samuel Flex 2-3 days ago that whether we like it or not, that the driving force for the entertainment is controversy. So,
in Ghana?
Yes,
or worldwide?
In Ghana.
Okay.
You should be ready to do things people are not willing to do. You should be ready to say things people are not ready to say, devoid of insult though. And that should be the driving force. Like you asked, traditionally, you wouldn't have heard about Fancy of Maccasio, but for the rivalry. So it tells you that your question, I'm coming to your question, it tells you that it has played a major role in lifting and elevating the industry in northern Ghana. Let me come back to what I was saying. I use Fancy Gadam against his masters.
Yes.
With spotlights. Now, Fancy Gadam became top, very popular even before Maccasio. Maccasio was nowhere to be found. So when that happened between myself and Fancy Gadam, I said, no, this guy doesn't know me. He's ungrateful, and I'll teach him. So I had an agenda. And that is me. When I go on an agenda, no, even my CEO can stop me. I will make sure I get it done.
Agenda man.
I have a question when you're done with your submission.
Same.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I picked Maccasio had came out. He was a musician. I didn't introduce him to the music,
right?
But he had came out with a single.
Okay.
And it was just dominating within his area and some people. I'm a radio presenter.
How did you get to know about Maccasio before you continue the story?
Someone introduced him to me.
Okay.
He was in a group with another person.
Okay.
Vision. Okay. He came out as a group.
Okay.
They were in a group, 2 people.
Okay. So you said he was known just in his area.
Yes. So I picked Maccasio. I said, no, this guy, because I needed someone way down to use him against Fancy, let him know that Fancy is nobody.
Just to also prove your power.
That's right.
I have a question.
Right.
I have a question,
Okay.
Lenny. So
In line with that.
Yes, in line with that. I have I mean, we've had several conversations about power play and then what's it called, gatekeeping, right? Now, I mean, in your based on your submission and how you've wanted to, you had your own agenda.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is? I don't want to make this a question of whether it's right or wrong, but do you think that it is important for us as stakeholders? I wouldn't even say gatekeepers, because we are all part of the industry. We play a very important contributory role to it. Do you think it is ethical, right, for someone of your stature, right, who has the power to make and unmake people, to have a personal agenda and to feel like maybe because I don't want to call it an ego trip or anything.
You're talking towards professionalism or something?
Yes, I'm speaking about professionalism, because I feel like personal sentiments shouldn't have to come into the foray when you're dealing with artists based on maybe a relationship that you have, your
very much aware
relationship.
Of that.
So how do you feel like that factors into the retrogression of the industry, because we do not see it going forward sometimes because of these personal issues? So I'm trying to understand, because in your submission you have mentioned how you have tried to use different factions because
against each other.
I mean, the controversy helps, but also when it's stemming from a place where it feels like it's personal and you're trying to prove a point
let's just take it that I was unprofessional. Okay. Let's just take it I didn't go by the rules and norms of the radio station, but it has helped. We had Fancy and now we have Maccasio.
Last you get there.
And you mentioned another name as well as coming up, right?
Fadlan.
No, Fadlan was even a nominee for
the Unsung
award for the Unsung.
No, there are a lot of. I'm just saying that even though he looks at it as unprofessional or we shouldn't be so, but I'm just saying that the possibilities and the advantages of what I did, we shouldn't just look at the negative aspect. What I did also brought forth, someone to elevate the industry.
Right now, looking at that, right? This is you pitching two. Or maybe Fancy against two people, and then Maccasio against Fancy, right?
Yeah.
But this is just in the north, right? Now I want us to just trickle it down a little bit. Yesterday I did mention that I think that the artists who find themselves in different regions aside Accra don't need to move to Accra to be able to blow up, because I don't believe in us saying there's a mainstream, right? Everywhere should be referred to as a